baseball fans. Coach Ken Anderson coming to you, hardcore Braves, and great series in New York. Didn't quite go our way, but we're going to talk about some good things and some things we got to get better at. But I got my main man Ryan on here. How do you feel coming out of the Yankee series?
I feel like we didn't play our best and we almost stole 2 out of 3. And no offense to Yankee fans, I feel like you guys had to play your best to win 2 out of 3 with your best 3 guys going. So all in all, it wasn't a bad series. Really close series. Really fun series, in my opinion. Had some weird stuff happen though throughout the series.
Yeah, it was a weird series. Now, look, I said we'd lose 2 out of 3. The reason why is they just won 8 in a row, and that's always scary when you go on the road to Yankee Stadium. But what I wanted to see is us to play well, and we did. In certain aspects, and other aspects we didn't. And so that's what we got to clean up. To me, it was like a postseason. We're getting before we get in the game. It's like a postseason series, isn't it? A lot of good pitching, needed hitting, and if you made a mistake, it hurts you. And hopefully, they'll learn from some of the mistakes they made, Ryan.
Yeah, no doubt. There was a number of mistakes. It wasn't just the Aussie base running. It was you can point to the balk too, but you can also say, well, you can't let that get to you in one of these games. You got to go out there and control what you can control, put it behind you, and keep moving on. I know it's tough, but that's what you got to do in these games. You can't just linger on one thing for an extended period of time. So, yeah, again, really good series. There weren't many mistakes, but the few mistakes that were made, they were magnified. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, in my opinion, the one that kind of kicked the series off, maybe swung the series 2 out of 3 both ways. And we love this guy. We just talked on the last podcast. He may be a future, well, no, I think he will be a future Brace Hall of Famer. But we get Max Fried and Albies is in the first inning. And I thought we had Max kind of on the ropes. We were hitting the ball. He was having a tough time locating, especially he was missing pitches. And we get a base hit, and Ozzy goes to third and gets thrown out. And I wanted to make sure, and they did had a good camera angle. Drake busted all the way home, so it's not that Drake, doesn't get this. He lollygags, and he busted right out of the gate. Ozzy just can't go to third right there. There's no way that Grisham's going to throw Drake out at home. He can fake it, make him throw, and go back to second. What were your thoughts on that? I think we had him on the ropes. If we could have got a run right there, who knows how that inning would have turned out for us.
Yeah, I never want to get onto a guy for hustling, but this is just a bad play. I mean, let's just keep it where it is. I mean, Trent Grisham's I think, at least one gold glove out there in center field. You know he's got a good arm. You got 2 outs. You got to make sure Baldwin comes home. If he's going to throw it, make sure he throws it home before you go to third base. At least do that so you know Drake's going to score. But, Max was on the ropes there. When you get one of those aces on the ropes, you don't want to let him off the hook, and Ozzy unfortunately let his old buddy Max Fried off the hook. But this guy right here who's on the mound was a pretty daggum good, huh, Coach?
I tell you what, I was excited to watch him throw because all they kept saying was Hef had a different pitch mix for him. Ryan's going to get into the numbers on what that change was, but his fastball plays up in the strike zone. He was hitting 96. You tell you could feel good. I've got to see it one more time, Tyler, but you're making me think we got something special in Tyler Mahle and the fact that we know he's durable. That we did know. Do we know that he can throw length? But if he can throw this ability and you got the pitch mix breakdown, it kind of like he spit on the sinker and the slider and went really heavy, his other stuff, splitter, fastball, that kind of stuff. Did you see the same thing? And he looked excellent. I mean, the Yankees couldn't touch him.
Yeah, he did really good. He was locating his pitches pretty well. So I'm going to show you guys what we got on him as long as I can pull it up real quick for you. Here we go. So here he is. This is his start against the Yankees. As you can see, 6 innings, only 3 hits, 2 walks, 9 punchies, 92 pitches. You can see four-seam fastball was a total of 53%, his splitter 34%, and his cutter was 13%. So he normally throws a sinker, as you can see right. Well, let me go. Well, can't go through it to here, but he normally throws a sinker. It's not much, but he throws it like I think 10% of the time around that point. And he also threw a slider. His slider he was actually throwing right around probably 16% of the time. The Braves told him to completely get rid of your slider. Just go four seam, split, and cutter. and it really worked. You can see the whiffs that he had. He had a total of 13 whiffs, 13 out of 41 swings. He got 13 whiffs on, which 13 whiffs pretty good in a start. I mean, look, unless you're Cam Schlittler, Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Chris Sale, you're not going to see many more than 13. I mean, those guys are elite. You're going to get your 15 to 20 a game on those type of pitchers. But for your, and trying to be as respectful as I can when saying this, but your middle of the road pitcher, your number 3 through number 5 starter to get 13 whiffs in a game. Tyler had some pretty good stuff working Friday night there in the Bronx. The Yankees really couldn't touch him, and I can see what Alex saw in him, but we're going to have to see a little bit more just to be sure again.
Yeah, I want to see the second start. He gets, I think we'll probably get the Mets this week, but very interesting. Letting Max off the hook, Max turned into Max Fried. He just slammed the door on us, and he got better each inning as the game went on, didn't he, Ryan? And then Austin Riley walks up against Cruz, and I tell you what, he's been good for them. I mean, their bullpen has been excellent. That's not been their problem. And Riley got a great, beautiful swing off. We get one run, and then Olson adds one in the ninth. Matty's special. We'll get to more to him in Game 3, but 2-0. And I thought, okay, we're going to win this ball game, didn't you?
Yeah, 100%. When Riley hit the home run, I was actually watching Spider Man in the movie theater. I had it playing on my phone, so I was doing a little multitasking there. And I was very excited when I saw Riley hit the splitter out of the ballpark. I thought that gave us a 1-run lead. Then Matty hit the next home run to give us a 2-run lead, and I was like, we're in the back end of our bullpen. This game's pretty much over. Well, as I've said, you guys, Razel Iglesias has been more than human lately, and he had another oopsie poopsie there in the Bronx here and on Friday night. Unfortunately, that ended up costing us a victory.
Yeah, we get to the bottom of the ninth, and I think Dawson, or maybe it was Matt Olson Burner, one of them put up the thing. I guess he's got like a 4.85 ERA since May 26. He just looks a little off. It'd be kind of nice to get him some rest. The Braves can't afford that. Um, they just hit him. I mean, it was really nothing that it was really a bad performance by Rossiel. What do you think's going on with Rossiel Iglesias?
I think his stuff's flat. I think his changeup just doesn't have quite the depth that it did, and it's starting a lot higher, so he's not painting the bottom of the zone. His fastball is getting hit hard because he's kind of leaving it middle of the plate, and his changeup's kind of floating in the strike zone right now. So, which kind of points to he's a little tired. You know, when your stuff starts flattening out and you're not getting that good drop on the changeup, and your arm's kind of dragging through, that's when it kind of starts floating up there. And when you're kind of leaving fastballs middle, and you're not able to paint it where you want to, it's just, I think he's tired. Look, dead arm happens even to relievers at points and periods in time, and right now Iggy is going through probably a little bit of a dead arm. I don't think I've seen Iggy hit 96 in, in quite a while. So, look, it'd be really good if the Braves can bust it open for a week offensively and score 6, 7 runs, and the back end can kind of rest for a little bit. But he's got to be better than what he's being right now. Because, by the way, that was a terrific play by Dubon. I forgot that he robbed a home run that really saved the game. But Iggy, if you're a closer, when we get to October, we're going to need you to lock a 2-0 win down. That's a game that you have to have, and if he's not that guy, then we gotta be talking to some situations coming October that maybe roles need to be changed going in there.
Yeah, I don't. We'll talk more about it, but Robert Suarez coming back is probably going to be the biggest thing for the Rays' success in the postseason. We get to extra innings, and I do agree with the guys on social media. Pretty bad job of not trying to get that run in. Not horrible at bats in the 10th, but it wasn't the best at bats. You definitely can't have the pull ball there. But, in Sean's defense, he's a pull ball hitter. I mean, it's asking a lot out of him to try to do something else. And then they take advantage of it in the bottom of the 10th. I mean, Tyler Kinley comes in, and Tyler is a 50-50 pitcher, to be honest with you. And we'll get to Game 3 where we got the best of Tyler. But it's all about getting the slider down. If he doesn't get the slider down, he's hittable, and they walk us off in a 3-2 victory. What do you think about the 10th inning and just anything else from the game?
Yeah, 10th inning was horrible at bats. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. I'm not going to be upset about Sean for, trying. He's a dead pull hitter. It is what it is. If he goes the other way, it's because he's driving a ball in the right center field gap, and that doesn't happen very often. But even the guys behind him had poor at bats. It's just, all in all, it just was not good at bats to try to get a runner home from second base, and you can't have that. But in October, you're not going to have the ghost runner. It's going to be extra innings as per usual. Nobody will be on, so it's going to be a clean slate. So extra innings will be a little bit tougher for both parties. But they played a great 8.5 inning game. Does that make sense, Ken? They
Yeah,
played great through all 8 innings, and then they played decent in the top of the ninth, and then when you got to the bottom half, everything it's like the clouds, just the sky fell in on that. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, it happens in baseball, but that's why you play 162 of these things to figure out who's really good and who's not really good.
I agree. So we get beat 3-2. That stops our 8-game winning streak. And so we get to Saturday's game. Chris Sale is going to take on Garrett Cole. And, I mean, both of them had good stuff, but they both had interesting moments in this game. Um, the fact of the matter is, it was kind of back and forth. What do you make of the two starting pitchers, just in general, as far as their stuff?
I think they were. I think for their stuff was sharp. I think Cole had his complete package. He had the fastball working at the top of the zone, at the bottom of the zone. He was painting corners with it. His off speed, his slider was really sharp. His changeup had that fade that I told y'all about. He had really good fade on his changeup. His curveball was really sharp and had heavy drop. And I felt like Chris, he had good stuff. He just didn't have his command. I felt like Chris didn't do a good job executing pitches when he needed to. He had a lot of deep counts. He had a trouble putting some guys away. Like first at bat of the game, 2-2 to Goldie, base hit. He did get a little bit of a double play to help him out, but well, one out. But I just, I've said it multiple times this year, Chris. When you get that extra rest, and I get it, they're trying to make sure you're healthy for the playoffs, but God dang it, man. We need you going 7+ freaking innings. You're the number one. You're the ace. 5 innings or 6 innings, 3 earned runs is not good enough out of you. I'm sorry. Those are your expectations out of me. You got to go 7, 2 to 3 earned runs or less, and you got to give the bullpen a break because the bullpen really needed a break this game. And Mahle pitched great. He gave 6 innings, but the back end was worked over. Iggy threw, then you had Tyler Kinley through, you had Fuentes and Dodd throw. Like, we need you going deeper into games to bridge the game to the back end as best you can. I can't have Chris Sale resting for 6 days and then going out there and giving up going 5 innings, 3 earned, or 6 innings and 3 earned. Like, that's just not good enough. You got to execute your slider. Your slider needs to be hitting your spots. You can't be missing out over the middle of the plate. Lefty lefty to Spencer Jones so he can drill it in the gap. Like, that to me is unacceptable out of a future Hall of Famer. I get it. He's human. He's going to have these ups and downs. It happens. I understand that. But Spencer Jones isn't a household name. He might be in Yankee land, but he's not a very good player right now if you look at his stats. And Chris Sale should have carved him up, and he had trouble with Spencer Jones. So I think Garrett Cole had the clear better stuff, but, Sale wasn't horrible, but he wasn't Chris Sale.
No, and the numbers suggest his longest start was in his shortest rest period. But I understand what they're trying to do. So I thought the second inning was huge in this game. We get a runner on second base, and I love Mauricio Dubon. He cannot take a fastball right down the middle for strike three. And then Yastrzemski doesn't get the bat off his shoulders. That irritates me more than anything. I mean, if you swing and miss and you strike out, that's one thing. You're a hitter. I was a hitter. I'm going to go down swinging. And I love Mauricio Dubon. I think we should build a statue of him if we win the World Series. I just couldn't understand taking a fastball right down the middle. Then Yastrzemski did the exact same thing. Now, he challenged the pitch, too. I mean, yeah, no strike zone better. I thought that was a huge point in the game. Again, we could have got on Max Fried to get a lead. We could have got on Garrett Cole to get a lead. Just frustrating right there, Ryan.
Yeah, the hitters' game planning in 2 and 3 were not very good. We had a really good game planning as Max Fried in game one. We just didn't come out on top of that. I don't think these guys even studied Cole or Schlittler at all because
No.
they They had no consistency what they were trying to do with the at bats. For Cole, I told you had to get the ball up. You can't leave it down in the zone because he's going to try to get you to expand and chase. It's exactly what he did. He was painting the fastball down there, so I get it. They had to expand, but he was also giving you fastballs up. So in my opinion, you should have just waited for the fastball up in the zone when he got it there, and been peppering it. You should have been hitting the hanging changeup. You should have been hitting the hanging breaking ball. I saw multiple times we took multiple of those pitches and we didn't swing at them. Just like you said, middle fastball down the middle, belt high, and we take it. You can't do that. I get it. You're guessing a pitch and you're sitting on that pitch. Okay, I get it. But when you have a runner in scoring position with nobody out, one out, two outs, whatever it is, you can guess your pitch. Once two strikes hit, you better be on the damn fastball and you better to adjust to the off speed. There's no reason to be sitting on a pitch with two strikes. I get it. You might be a gambling man, and that's one way to gamble. But Coach, you know how gambling goes. More times than not, you're not going to win, and neither one of them won in that situation. So you need to have a better approach at the plate. You need to go up there and have a game plan against these guys and execute it. And they just did not do a very good job in game two or in game three.
Well, at least in the game two, I thought at least the Bond and Yaz learned from it because they come up the next at bat, and that's how we score our runs. They were aggressive at the plate. You got to be aggressive. Riley had a good at bat. Everybody had a good at bat at the bottom of the lineup. So we get the lead by being aggressive. I just wish we'd have been more aggressive in the second inning. Again, you know what it is. So let's get to the fifth inning. And Chris, when he has the extended rest, gets in these funky fifth innings or sixth innings. Me and you have talked about it on previous recaps. Go back and listen to them. And here we go. He gets off on his point. He hits a batter, walks a batter. Spencer Jones hits one, like you said, that's just a bad pitch. And Chris knows that. Gets a triple out of it. They tie the game. And the rule is you must declare what you are, wind up and stretch. The umpire said he declared on the first batter when he got the out, but did not declare on this batter, and they called a balk. This is a frustrating rule, Ryan. So just break it down what your thoughts on here.
It is a frustrating rule, right? Because here's the thing. All right, umpires have been very lenient with this rule. It's been no secret about it. As long as a runner gets on and they establish what they're doing, they let it go after that point. Whether multiple runners get on, whether they change bases, whatever, they normally just let it go. Well, here's what I'm gonna say. Rule is the rule. The umpire followed the rule, and I'm not on the umpire's side in this situation. But can I 100% say he's wrong, Ken? No. Can I 100% say Chris Sale's wrong? No, because the umpires don't uphold it. But here's the one thing I've always said that players need to do when they go out there on the field, Ken. There's only so many controllables on the field that you can control. You can control your approach, you can control your attitude, you can control your effort, and you can control rules like this to not allow a balk. So I don't care if you feel ridiculous doing it. Make sure you tell the umpire what you're doing each and every single batter if there's a runner on base. Don't leave it to his hands because, as we have seen for multiple years over the course of baseball, umpires tend to kind of like making the show for themselves every once in a while, and that is what we had here in Game 2. So I don't blame Sale. I don't fully blame the umpire. I look at the whole situation as a whole. Control what you can control. Don't let it be up to the umpire, and go do what you're supposed to do. Chris Sale also, the previous pitch, hung a dang slider to Spencer Jones. If he didn't hang the slider to Spencer Jones, guess what? Well, you're still in a situation where you have the lead and you're not sitting there trailing after you balked a guy in from home plate. So that's my whole thing. That's not really what cost us the game because I don't think we were going to hit anybody else the way the Braves were swinging the bats. But you going out there and trying to blame the umpire for us losing a game, if that's what you were doing, is kind of completely ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know that Chris is just upset. So that's really, on the field. We'll have to see. They do get a cheap, Yankee Stadium home run. I know people kind of bashed Vic on that home run. That ball's not out of hardly any ballparks in the Major League Baseball. Now he hit the ball good. The kid Lombard's going to be a great player. We're not here to do a Yankees podcast, but he looks like he's the goods, Ryan. But that's a kind of a cheap home run. But the good thing is we bounced right back. I mean, Ronnie gets a big home run. We had a chance to in this game. But every time we seem to do that, they've got another big run, and we just couldn't come through. We ended up getting beat 5-4. Got any other thoughts on the game? I just think that the Braves had the opportunities to win this game as well, and the little things like taking the strike. We're talking about the first game where Ozzie made the mistake, and then Rossiel was off. This game here, there's the home run to get them up 5-3 right there. That's just not a good pitch by Danny Young to Ben Rice. I mean, I thought Vic's pitch was okay, a little bit better, but they hit 2 home runs. That was the real deal. But it was just one of those games, and because, like you said, of Iglesias and all of them having to use move pitchers in the first game, we had to go to guys like Danny Young in this game, and it ended up costing us game. So, you got anything else on this? A 5-4 loss for the Yankees.
No, it's a tough loss. And look, if Sale did his job and got us into the seventh inning, who knows what happens if we're up 2-1 going into the seventh and we score a couple more and we're able to use Didi in this game and we're able to use Dylan if they were available, we might win this game. We didn't have bad at bats off of Bednar in the ninth, which is like we scored. If you score a run off a closer, you're doing your job. It's hard to score multiple runs off a closer, apparently, unless you're named Rosell Iglesias here lately in the last few months. But I mean, it was Braves did a decent job in this game. They didn't. My whole thing is with Chris Sale. You got to be better. Like if you're gonna get 6 days, I need 7 out of you. Like there's nothing. I'm not ever gonna not expect that. You're our number one. You're going to be a future Hall of Famer. I know you're not going to give us 7 every single time, but you need to be giving us 7 a whole lot more than what we've been getting. That's all. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, it's just a tough loss, and it's we just got to clean up a little stuff. We get to Sunday, and this is what we really want to talk about. Now, look, Whitler threw he's a great, uh, and we tagged us with a fastball. I didn't think that he could just tag us with a fastball, but our approach was like Ryan said was not good. But we broke out Grant Holmes, and Grant Holmes now since the trade deadline. We'll get into that a little bit in a second has gave up no runs, and he was excellent. And we just got a good old pitcher's duel. Just speak to both pitchers. Splitler's going to be the real deal, and Grant Holmes is got a little chip on his shoulder, and I kind of like it, Ryan.
Yeah, I'll start with Grant. Grant was phenomenal. I mean, there's no other way that you know. I mean, nothing else I can really say. He gave us another 6 inning performance. Gave up no runs again. Pitched great. Yeah, I mean, he had some good defensive work behind him with the double plays and stuff. He didn't walk many guys. I think he walked maybe 1 or 2 guys. Didn't give up many hits. His stuff was really been turning the corner. And I really want to say that Ken, that he's actually made some sort of adjustment with his arsenal a little bit. I think he's actually throwing his curveball a little bit more than he normally has been. Don't quote me on that, chat, but I feel like that's kind of what he has been doing lately. And I mean, he threw it today 8% of it. He threw 6 curveballs, and I feel like that his curveball has been a really good weapon for him, and it's been getting guys off of his slider. It's been giving him a different look. So he looks really good right now. Whatever he's doing, he just needs to keep on rolling because he's rolled through 2 pretty decent offenses the last time he's pitched.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is he's pounding the zone. That's the thing I noticed, and I got to admit, when he struck out Ramos and did the little Spencer Strider leg quick kick, that made my day. Because Ramos has kind of tried to show his ass the whole series, and I enjoyed that. All right, so just a good old pitcher's duel. Not a lot of talk on the hitting side, other than the fact that Matt Olson. This is where we're going to jump in on Matt Olson. Matt Olson should be in the MVP talk. He is absolutely. Me and you talked before we got on here tonight. He has got it in him. The boys will help him out. Matt Olson's ready to prepare to really carry this team to a special season. Just another home run, and we talked about it. We keep trying to lower the number, but he has an outside chance at 50, but he's pretty much zoned in on 45, don't you think?
Yeah, as long as he stays healthy. I don't think there's any doubt Matt Olson's going to have 45 homers by the end of the year. He's been Mr. Consistency, And look, Freddie was that when he was here at first base, and Matt Olson has literally slid in, and you haven't skipped a beat over there at first base. And I think that's the biggest compliment that I can give Matt Olson. We haven't missed a Hall of Famer in Freddie Freeman because a Hall of Famer has filled first base right in for us right after that. And I don't know about you, Cam, but I don't think there's many times in an organization's history where they let a Hall of Famer walk out the door and then another one's walked right in to replace it. That's pretty good on AA's part getting that deal done. And I'm glad that Matt Olson's here for the rest of his career. I'm glad that he's going to be in a Braves uniform. He's going to have after this year, he's going to have two 40-plus home run seasons in Atlanta Braves uniform. That's pretty dang solid there, Ken.
It is. He's a special player, and hopefully he'll get a lot of hardware, and maybe one of them will be a World Series trophy. So bullpen comes in. Dylan comes in, and Dylan's good again. Not great, but he's okay. I am concerned with a little bit of the walk. This is now 3 out of 4 outings, I think, Ryan. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's 3 out of 4 where he's had walk. In one game, he had a multiple walk. I'm not really concerned, but I like for Dylan to clean that up. And then Didi comes in. Remember, they're tied to the hip. Didi does a good job. And then I was you. I think he just maybe one too many fastballs to Grissom. He's a chase. I would like to have seen maybe a splitter or slider, and he takes him deep to tie the ball game. Um, but overall, I thought Dylan and Didi did okay other than the one pitch. And again, I want to see what you think. I like for him to clean up the walk. I don't want to see him in a walk every time he comes into the game. Dylan Dodd. So, what are your thoughts on how they pitched today?
I think they pitched well. Look, I mean, that's growing pains for Didi, knowing, understanding that, yeah, you might have 100 to tank there, buddy, but major league hitters can time a jet if you give them enough looks at it. So, you know my thoughts on walks, man. I can't stand them. I don't walk people. Make them earn it. If they hit a solo shot against you, they hit a solo home run. Don't let them start a rally where they could score 3 or 4 off of you. I think Dylan. I want to say he's probably pitched just about as much as he's probably ever pitched before. I know, so I think we're getting in the dog days of August. I think his arm might be getting probably a little bit tired, or his body in general, not his arm. I don't think it's anything injury wise, but your body as a whole gets tired. So we really need our starting to pitching to go 6, 7 innings more consistently here in the back end of the season because we have to save Didi's bullets. We have to save Dylan Dodd's bullets. Shit, we got to save the rest of the guys' bullets in the back end because they've carried us for a long time because their starting pitching wasn't very good. So I'm more worried from a fatigue standpoint more than I am anything mechanical or their stuff or anything like that. I think their stuff's still there, but I would say that they need more rest than what they've been given. But when you're in a pennant race, it's hard to rest your best guys.
It is, and we'll get into it a little bit. The starting pitching is picking that up, so I think that they're going to get rest as we go along, and hopefully we'll get a little bit better. And I think if they can keep this 9-game lead, I think I know y'all hate when he does it, but I think he may actually punt on a couple more games going down the stretch here, just to make sure those guys get rested. So one good thing happened in this game is Rossiel coming in the bottom of the ninth, and he pitched well. So that's a good sign. And we keep telling you that Rossiel is one of those weird pitchers that he needs to pitch a lot more. He's different than the rest of them. But kudos to Rossiel. I mean, he blew the game on Friday night. Tonight he come in there and got us the extra innings. So I guess we can give him a couple of flowers for that, can't we, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, look, he couldn't win us the game. The best he could do in that situation is make sure we get to the 10th inning, and he did that. So, I mean, Iggy, I'm still irritated at you, but but I can't be too mad because it's 162 games. Look, get it out of your system now. This is what I always tell them. Like, I'd rather you get it out of your system in August and be locked down from September on than start having oopsie poopsies in September and then in October. So go ahead and get it out of your system now, and then get your head out of your butt and start pitching like Rosel Iglesias in the last 8 to 10 weeks of the season.
Yeah, so we get to the 10th. Michael gets a big base hit. What we didn't do in the game Friday night. Michael does have a good at bat, and good for Michael because Michael has really kind of gone under the radar. But Michael struggled for the last week for Michael for what he's been this season. So good for Michael. He gets the base hit. We'll talk about these two guys who won the game. Tyler Kenley has to come in the bottom of the 10th, and 1, 2, 3. And that's the good of Tyler Kenley. When that slider's working, Ryan, he can get guys out, and that's the reason why I know everybody wants him off the team, but that's the reason why Hef and them still want him on the team. Because if he can throw the right pitches and make them work, he can help us out. So it was a nice win. You can talk what you want to. Michael finally getting a big hit, and then Tyler those two guys, Michael's really been struggling lately, kind of under the radar. I mean, not, I mean, just for him this year. And Tyler, of course, kind of been in the doghouse of the bullpen. So it's nice to see those two guys perform. And let's salvage a win in New York.
Yeah, Michael's been quietly cold, I feel like,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have these spells very often. He's had one recently, but and the reason why it's so quiet, Ken, is because the strikeouts kind of perk up a little bit. It's not like he's striking out every time. This series, it was more noticeable with the strikeouts because, my God, you had three aces that you were facing. So, I mean, you kind of expect that. But Michael normally has hard contact. And he's been, I know in the National Series, he made really good contact. He just didn't have anything to show for it. So it was nice to see Michael come up there big to get that big base hit to get a little bit of confidence back in his window a little bit. But I mean, I don't see anything wrong with Michael. He looks very, very good at the plate. He just, he faced really good pitching this weekend. So I'm not too worried about Michael, but glad he got the hit. But I will say this about Tyler Kenley. Ken, I got to give him his flowers. Are you ready? The one thing that I've been begging him to do is use his other pitches, specifically his fastball. I'm gonna read you off what he did today. Are you ready, buddy?
Yeah.
He threw a total of 10 sliders, 10 curveballs, and he threw a total of 3 fastballs. So for Tyler, that's pretty good. I'm not too worried about the fastballs being low, but he's mixing in a new breaking ball. He's giving them a new look at the curveball and of the slider. His curveball's, by the way, graded out just as good as the slider. So I'm glad that he's using his other pitches finally. Like I've been begging for this all year. Like you can't just rely on one pitch. Big league hitters are going to be sitting on it and they're going to be able to hit it because that's what they're looking for. Now that he's got the curveball, now he's got the slider. By the way, in the 10th inning, Jazz Chisholm was telling these guys when a curveball was coming. He was doing this little shit out there at second base, giving the signs away. And Tyler's stuff was so good that they couldn't even get it. They couldn't do anything with it. So hats off to Tyler Kenley for using his repertoire the way he needs to use it more. And he was able to go 1, 2, 3, and then blew 97 miles an hour right by his old teammate and Ryan McMahon. So really good for Tyler. Look, man, you've kind of been wearing him out a little bit. Don't think he's a big inning pitcher, but there's not many more bigger situations than that to come in with a 1-run lead, and then you start the inning with a runner at second base to go 1, 2, 3 in the Bronx. So hats off to you, Tyler. You shoved it right up their ass today, and we appreciate it as Braves fans.
Yeah, they get the record back to 71-47, 24 games over 500. Phillies did win a big game for them, 12 innings to get 7-6. Brewers won, Dodgers lost. So we go into the weekend, and we kind of all of us come out of this weekend almost in the same position, Ryan. So we all kind of had the same weekend. Brewers are the one team who had a good weekend. So with that said, let's get to the MVP and the play of the series. So we'll start with the play of the series. Man, there's a lot of little plays that happen. There's not a lot of big plays. There's just a lot of little stuff that happened. What was the play of the series for you that stood out in your eyes?
It stood out in my eyes, but not in a good way. And I think like you said, it changed the entire series for the Atlanta Braves, and that's Ozzie Albies getting thrown out at third base, Trent Grisham throwing him out, kept the run off the board, got Max off the mound, got him in the dugout where he could recuperate a little bit and get his head on straight and figure some things out. And then he went out there and just was absolutely dominant like Max Fried normally is. So for me, that's the play of the series. It goes to Trent Grisham because that really who knows what happens if we go out there and We score that run. Ozzie stays at second base, and then the next guy comes up. He might have drilled a 3-run homer. He might have drilled one in the gap. He might have gotten a base hit that scored another run. We just don't know, and we'll never know. So the bad base running play by Ozzie, good throw by Trent Grisham is my play of the series.
Yeah, that was a big play, and that was one of the ones that I was thinking of. Just to get another big play in the series, um, I'm going to just because we salvaged the game today, I'm going to go with Horacio Bond the ninth, just to bounce back after he got. I mean, it's hard for these closers. A lot of times, what you don't want to see a closer is when it leads to another one and another one. So I'll give Rossio some love, the fact he bounced back, because I was about as mad as hell at him Friday night, to be honest with you. I mean, I was really upset. I was like, man, this is ridiculous. With that said, who was your MVP of the series? Really, it's a really strange series, but who was the MVP of the series?
For both teams, starting pitchers. I mean, shoot. I mean, I think the Yankees, each of their guys went 7 innings each start and didn't give up much, and each of the Brave starters went. I think maybe except Chris Sale. I know Chris went six. Every one of the Brave starters went 6 innings, and they only gave up, I think, a combined like maybe 3 or 4 runs. I want to say maybe just three. It might have been just the three Chris Sale gave up. So, I mean, so hats off to the starting pitchers on both sides. They're my MVPs for both the teams because I don't. It's a whole different series without those guys doing what they did.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Braves pitchers. I do agree that it could be both of them. I'm going with the Braves pitcher because I want to be able to give you this stat. You ready for a great stat, Ryan?
Let's do it.
Here we go. So we all, including every pundit on television, we said, Alex, you got to go get a starting pitcher. And still, that still could be true. We don't know until we get to the postseason. The starting pitchers this week in 6 games, okay, 6 games, 34 innings, gave up 4 runs. 4 runs and 34 innings. Guys, that is phenomenal. And they've done everything to kind of at least let us say, okay, let's show us more. And they'll get a chance and we'll do the preview in just a little bit. But I thought it was fantastic. 4 runs and 34 innings. If I'd have told you that was going to happen when me and you and the rest of Brace Country was pissed off Monday night, you wouldn't have believed me, would you, right?
No, I would have looked at you like you had 5,000 heads and you were screaming at the top of your lungs. So no, 34 innings and 4 earned runs is, and shoot, 3 of them were by Chris Sale. So go figure that one out. That the rest of the starting pitchers would be doing better than Chris Sale after deadline day. But hats off to those guys, man. They took it personal, and you know what? Guys, go out there and shove it up the rest of our asses for the rest of the season and show us why you need to be starting pitchers because I will not complain and I'll be more than happy. I told you, Ken, I'll be happy to admit when I'm wrong. I'd be more than happy to admit I'm wrong if we're going to the NLCS in October.
Me too. I'm proud of them. Good job. Make us all Brace Country, not just us two. I mean, everybody Brace Country. I didn't see a Brave so other than those real diehard positive fans. And great. I'm glad. Like Aaron Kirby on Twitter and all them. Great. I mean, I'm hoping. I can tell that you were right. By the end of the season, I'll take a world championship, and Aaron, I'll buy you something to drink at the ball game because they've been phenomenal. All right, let's get to the next series. Here come the Mets. We have not played well against the Mets, and hopefully this will be a chance to do that. They're going to throw their big young pitchers again. They're great. We love them. I mean, they got a good young team, and guess what? The Mets have got hot. They're hot. I mean, they're playing really good baseball. Benj is hitting, Ewing's hitting, Young is hitting, and I mean, they're just. It's so funny, and this is not to knock, but I can't help it, Ryan. I got to get your thoughts. I talked to a Mets fan here at work. I got a good friend of mine that's a big Mets fan. He says the same thing. It's funny. Juan Soto on the IL, the team plays so much better, and they play with such fire right now. A little bit dangerous team coming in here. I'm thinking it's going to be for us. Elder, we're looking at Elder Perez, maybe Mahle in this series. Looks like something like that. So, what are your thoughts on the series? What do you think about what the Mets doing? Their young kids, and it could be another like postseason type atmosphere because those three young kids can throw.
Yeah, man, there's a Look, we got the Yankees three best. We're getting the Mets three best. I mean, these guys aren't going to get a shortage of really good pitching, so the offense is going to be tested again. Look, if the offense goes and goes up there and they have their approach and they execute an approach, they're going to be fine. They didn't have that this weekend. You could definitely see like their approach went out the window, and we were lucky to kind of escape with one win, especially after Game 3, because they just looked horrible against Schlittler. The game plan for me was get the ball down because that's when 100 miles an hour gets to be hittable. And guess where the Yaz double is from? Fastball down in the zone. The Olson homer, fastball down in the zone. Can't hit 100 miles an hour up around your belt, but you can hit it around your knees and around your thigh. But anyway, getting back to the Mets, I think they've been playing really good, man. Me and you talk about their young kids, especially those two outfielders, man. They are really good. Benj and Ewing, they're going to be really good for a long time for the Mets, and I can't stand it that they're going to be on the Mets. As they have been known to screw that up, but I don't think they're going to screw those two kids up. And then Christian Scott, he is. You pointed out last the similarities between him and Zach Wheeler are ridiculous. You got their young lefty. I think it's Zach Long, maybe it is. I want to
Thornton,
say
yeah.
that's
I think it's Thornton, isn't it?
Thornton. There you go.
Yeah.
He is filthy from the left side. He's going to be a tough one. And then, oh, by the way, if that didn't get any better, Nolan McLean's going to be lurking in game 2. And you know how nasty his stuff is. He's got high velocity. His stuff moves. So they got a really good core, Ken. They do. They have a really good core. Those two outfielders with Lindor and Soto, depending upon what either one of them do this offseason with if they move to Lindor, but they got a really good offensive core. They got a really good starting pitching core if they stay healthy, man. They've done a decent job up there in New York. I don't know what Stearns is going to do in the offseason. He'll find some way to screw it up, but they developed some young kids I'm really they're really really good.
If he does it right, they'll be right back in the playoffs next year. That's what I told my friend. So we'll say so. With that said, how do you see the series breaking out?
Oh man, I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna say we win 2 out of 3. We're back in Truist. We're back home. The guys have been playing really well at home this year. And Big Texas, I think, is going to shove. We got Martin Perez, who's just been an absolute animal out there on the mound, eating innings and just shoving it up people's butts all year. And then I'm looking forward to seeing Game 3 with Mahle again. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he pitches. And if he pitches like he did in New York, man, I think the Braves have a really good shot at winning 2 of these games. And I'll be honest with you, man, those kids are really good. They are. The starting pitchers they have are really good. I don't think they're going to be better than Schlittler. They're not going to be better than Cole, and they're definitely not going to be better than Max Fried. We just got done facing those 3 guys, so I think the Braves are going to be chomping at the bit to see anything else other than those 3 guys going on the mound.
I agree. I think that also, I think facing these big three, our hitters are going to be in a different focus. I like the way at least our guys, they're firing them to play today. So I'm going to say 2 out of 3. It's hard to say sweep here for sure because they're playing such good baseball, and the fact of the matter is they got their 3 best pitchers. I'll go 2 out of 3. Who is your MVP? Who's going to carry us?
My MVP, I think he's getting hot, Ken. And no, I'm not talking about Riley. I'm going Ronald Acuna Jr. Ronald looked pretty good out there in the Bronx, and it wasn't just the home run. I think he had 2 or 3 lineouts off of Cole in the right field, man, and it wasn't just little loopers, man. He pissed on them pretty good. So I think Ronald's going to go off this series against the Mets.
Yeah, I think you have a big series. I'm going to go with a guy we don't really take a lot, for good reason, because there's a lot of other guys that we can possibly take. But I'm going to take Mauricio Dubon. Mauricio Dubon, I think, is focused in on trying to, and I'm glad. Look, I'm all for it. I think he's done it and he can get paid. And I like it. And I think Mauricio, and I like the way Walt's working him in different positions. But the really big reasons, we've done the Mets on the hip coil before, hitting middle backside against these three guys is huge, and that's something Mauricio does well. So I'm going to take Mauricio Dubon. It's kind of a stretch a little bit. Usually try to take a left-handed hitter against these guys, and we have so many good ones. I do like the fact that we both went with right-handed hitters, so at least we're getting a little bit better there, ain't we, Ryan?
There you go. Look,
Yeah.
and when both are going well, they're both going middle backside. So keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
Yep. All right, so that's what we got. Me and Ryan have been really busy. I mean, really busy this weekend, and we're not forgot you, and we have not forgot Andrew and Aaron. We're all kind of going. Life happens, things happen. We've been really busy, so we're going to try to stay on it and get you content. But to be honest with you, the reason there's really no hip call, we've done the Mets. I feel like we've done the Mets more than any team in baseball. It feels like, Ryan. So you're not missing out. We're going to be right back in it. We got a new team coming up this week in Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll get into the previews and the hip coils, and Aaron will bring up stuff. We're going to have a lot of good young teams coming up. I mean, teams we haven't seen. Minnesota Twins are coming. The Dodgers are coming again. But Ryan, you got any final thoughts tonight before we get out of here?
No, I just want to say sorry, guys, for not doing the hip call. But I will say, if you guys want, we've covered these starting pitchers before. I think we've had two to anywhere from 3 to 4 hip calls on the Mets previously. They're all in one. They're all going to be throughout them. So if you want to go check it out, you can. If you don't want to, I don't blame you. That's a lot of shuffling. I just had a lot going on this weekend. Life happens, and I just couldn't get around to doing it. And by the time I got done doing what I had to do today, it was around 9 o'clock at night. So, and then Ken finally got off work and we hopped on here to do the podcast for you guys. So, I should get back on track this week for the upcoming series that will be after the Mets, and it'll be back on track after that.
He'll be there because it's new pitchers. He'll be all excited to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So he likes it when he gets to break in the new pitchers as well. So, all right, we're going to get out of here. We love you, Brace Country, and y'all hold the faith. Hey, big crowds this week. A lot of giveaways this week. They got a lot of stuff going on. Monday night game, get out to the ballpark early. I know our family is. Not me for say, but my daughter and them are going. Michael Harris football jersey night, right? That's pretty nice. So get to the ballpark. There's a lot of this stuff going on. We love you, Brace Country. We're going to get out of here. Peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.